Good evening. Or perhaps I should say, welcome to the tail end of 2024, edging into 2025, a time when quite a few surprising things continue to unfold around our blue planet. To begin, allow me a question. Exactly how cold does it have to be for a human life to slip away? Freezing temperatures, you might guess, below 0 Celsius. Yet the danger may lurk at higher temperatures than you'd ever expect if there's no way to keep warm. Imagine then, these conditions playing out right now, somewhere across the globe. A frigid desert night, young children, and no reliable source of heat. It might sound like a storyline devised to unsettle us, but rest assured, dear viewer, it's all too real. Tonight, we'll examine a grim series of reports from a desert region where the term night chill takes on an entirely new meaning. Lest you think you've stumbled into a fantastical fable, I must clarify. These events are genuinely, tragically happening. Stay with me as I walk you through news gathered between late 2024 and early 2025, bits and pieces that paint a somber portrait of life on the edge. Our stage is the Gaza Strip, a Palestinian territory. What on earth is going on there? You may ask. So let's find out. I invite you to listen carefully. The tragedy of baby Fashif and his mother's words. First, let's turn to a report issued on December 26, 2024 at 8:13 a.m. According to CNN.co.jp, 3 Palestinian infants froze to death as winter set in more harshly than usual, revealing the dire state of Gaza. Foremost among these stories is the brief life of baby Fashif, just 3 weeks old. His 31-year-old father was seen on video, carrying his child's tiny body wrapped in a white cloth, heading for burial. The mother, interviewed by local reporters, admitted, "We had no spare clothing to keep him warm. I could only hold him." Moments later, the baby's color drained from his face. The camera caught his last breath, painful proof that this was no mere rumor, but a chilling reality of late 2024 in Gaza. Mawashi district and the irony of a humanitarian zone. The family in question lived in Mawashi in Gaza's southern area. Ironically, Israel once designated this region a humanitarian zone. Now, repeat attacks have rendered it anything but safe. Thousands of displaced Palestinians dwell in makeshift tents of cloth and nylon, with minimal shelter from the elements. By nightfall, the temperature plunges, carrying sand-laden winds into every gap. Some have reported distant cries of infants that vanish without warning. One moment they pierce the dark, the next there's only silence. It all seems rather unreal, doesn't it? Yet these are real fragments of the present moment. Since October 7, 2023, when Hamas orchestrated a sudden incursion, Israeli military operations have escalated dramatically. Gaza, once bustling, now hangs by a thread. Families lost, food and medical supplies scarce, and winter cold exacerbating every hardship. A December 23rd report by the Palestinian Ministry of Health indicated over 45,000 fatalities and 107,000 injuries. Even into 2025, airstrikes continue, affecting children among many others. At this point, cold itself has become an adversary, chasing people from every corner, a source summarized, with a dryness worthy of a macabre script. A local volunteer described the camp at night. Sometimes you see parents clinging to their children, desperate for warmth. We have so few blankets, so little shelter. The child's voice might whimper in the dark, then vanish. And that sudden silence, it's unsettling. This is no invention of a morbid imagination. It's an actual account from someone who's been there. One wonders, if we ourselves were present, what would we feel? Events following January 2nd, 2025 and further freezing deaths. During the same 24 hours, media from the region indicated the number of infants lost to cold rose to 7. By the 3rd, hospitals were shutting down, and fresh reports mentioned 90 more people had died in a matter of days. Refugee camps bear the brunt of these circumstances. Moving on to the latest developments. On January 2nd, 2025, the Israeli military again struck the western Mawashi area near Khan Yunis, labeled a humanitarian zone. Palestinian news agencies reported at least 11 casualties that day. Meanwhile, in Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu's surgical operation and discharge made headlines, and a delegation was dispatched to Qatar. But it seems any meaningful ceasefire negotiation has stalled, overshadowed by a relentless reality on the ground. One rescue worker commented, Of all the sounds I hear at night, nothing stings like the faint cry of an infant. As long as that cry continues, life still clings. But when it cuts off suddenly, it means there wasn't even time to scream for help. Thousands remain under these extreme conditions, prompting the question, can we dismiss this as just another piece of news? An unending chain of infant freezing deaths and international reactions. In the Deir al-Bala camp of central Gaza, local reports say baby Ali al-Batran, barely 3 weeks old, died of hypothermia. His twin brother Juma perished in a tent the day before. The UNRWA official in Gaza has appealed for basic necessities like blankets and baby formula, stating, "We can't foresee a ceasefire right now, so support is desperately needed." But the matrix of conflicts, Israel, Hamas, and multiple international actors holds no simple exit route. While the world keeps watch, or not, children in Gaza face cold nights compounded by airstrikes. A grim start to 2025. Let's revisit the question from our opening. How cold does it have to get for a child to die? There is no neat answer. Temperature is but one factor. Clothing, shelter, warmth, and yes, a family or a helping hand. If any of these are missing, a fragile life can be lost with frightening ease. None of this is make-believe. It's a genuine crisis that has continued from late 2024 straight into 2025. If you or I were placed in similar conditions, might we also shiver to the brink? The thought alone, I suspect, causes a pang in the chest. These statistics and first-hand accounts, horrific as they sound, are all from individuals living now, in the same timeline as the rest of us, albeit a vastly different circumstance. The reports so far depict a reality so unyielding, one might suspect hope itself has quietly departed. Under the dull sky and swirling dust, sorrow-laden figures appear as though their last flicker of possibility has long since faded. And yet, in these circumstances, people persist in seeking a small lamplight, whether a prayer or a story, anything to preserve that faint gleam from slipping into oblivion. Allow me, then, to offer a brief tale, a modest prayer, if you like. It isn't a denial of grim truths, but a slender beam that might illuminate a heavy heart, should we let it. Please lend your ear. Even in this bleakness, a single thread of light may prove stubborn enough to shine.
In the kingdom of eternal frost, a beacon of hope. In a realm of endless dunes, where the sun eternally kissed the horizon, there once existed a land of sand that defied the night. But then, as if a switch had been flipped, the sun's warmth began to fade, replaced by a bitter biting wind. Noah the father clutched his freezing baby, Asif, close as he trudged through countless nights. The endless sands stretched before them, a sea of despair, where the cries of the suffering grew louder, and the biting wind carried away their warmth. In a small white shroud, Noah laid his beloved Asif to sleep. Beneath the endless sky of the desert, despair had taken root in his heart, twisting into a knot of pain and anger. With a heavy heart, Noah finished his solemn task. As he looked up at the star-studded sky, a single star detached itself from the celestial canvas and began a descent towards him, a celestial guide through his darkness. The light coalesced into a being of pure radiance, introducing itself as the spirit of the flame. With a gentle gesture, it offered Noah a miniature lamp. The spirit's voice was a soft whisper in the night. Within this lamp, I've kindled the flames of love and courage. Let them guide your path. Noah questioned aloud, his voice filled with doubt. Love and courage, are they enough to overcome the desolation? With the lamp held high, Noah sought out those trembling in the chill. As he shared the light, it seemed to grow, casting a warm glow upon the gathering. The light spread, igniting a global spark of compassion. People from far and wide reached out to help, showing the desert dwellers they were not forgotten. This tale may unfold in a distant realm, yet the shadows of sorrow and strife are universal. Should you share this lamp's glow, it may ignite a new flame, casting a different light on another's journey.
Thank you for watching thus far. What we've observed isn't some dusty legend or cinematic script, but a reality continuing this very moment somewhere in our world. A notion that, admittedly, can make one's nerves bristle. Still, I'd rather not see everything smothered in grief. If you're wondering how you might lend a hand, a simple starting point could be looking into groups actively working on the ground. We've listed a few URLs in this video's description. How you choose to feel or act rests entirely in your hands and your attention. Perhaps even a small gesture might become a great beacon of hope for someone out there. For now, I'll take my leave. May you find a gentle warmth in your evening. Until we meet again, take care.